The clatter of keys against the kitchen counter was the first sign. Not a loud, careless jangle, but a deliberate, almost furtive placement. Quentin, a software engineer in my late 40s, living in the quiet suburbs of Seattle, Washington, had always prided myself on my intuition, my ability to read the subtle shifts in people's moods. But lately, that intuition had been screaming at me, warning me of a storm brewing in my seemingly placid marriage to Bernice. Bernice, my wife of 15 years, had always been a creature of habit. A meticulous accountant, she thrived on routine and predictability. Our life together was a comfortable tapestry woven with shared evenings, weekend hikes in the Cascades, and the comforting silence of shared reading. But in the last few months, the pattern had begun to unravel. It started with the late nights at work. Bernice's firm, a small accounting practice downtown, had supposedly taken on a new, demanding client. The hours stretched longer, the excuses became more frequent, and the spark in her eyes seemed to dim with each passing week. I understood the demands of a career. My own job often required long hours and intense focus. But there was something different about Bernice's absences. They felt guarded, evasive. Then came the phone calls. Whispered conversations in the hallway, hurried exits from the room when I entered, and a strange protectiveness of her phone. I tried to brush it off, attributing it to the stress of work, but the unease gnawed at me. I found myself checking her phone bill, a childish act I immediately regretted. No strange numbers, nothing out of the ordinary. But the feeling persisted. One evening, while Bernice was supposedly at a team-building event, I decided to surprise her with dinner at her favorite Italian restaurant. I called her office, intending to leave a message, but the receptionist informed me that Bernice hadn't been in the office all day. A cold dread washed over me. Where was she? I spent the evening pacing the house, my mind racing with possibilities, none of them good. I tried calling her repeatedly, but her phone went straight to voicemail. The silence in the house was deafening, amplifying the growing fear in my heart. Finally, at 11:00 p.m., I heard the familiar sound of her car pulling into the driveway. I rushed to the door, my heart pounding in my chest. Bernice walked in, her face flushed, her hair slightly disheveled. "Sorry I'm late," she said, avoiding my gaze. "The event ran longer than expected. I called your office," I said, my voice trembling slightly. "They said you weren't there." Bernice's eyes widened and she hesitated for a moment. "Oh," she stammered, I had to run an errand." For the client, her explanation sounded flimsy, unconvincing. I wanted to believe her, but the doubt was too strong. "What errand?" I pressed. "Just paperwork," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "I don't want to talk about it right now, Quentin. I'm tired." She brushed past me and headed upstairs, leaving me standing alone in the hallway, the weight of my suspicions crushing me. The next morning, I woke up with a resolve I hadn't felt in years. I needed to know the truth. I couldn't live with the uncertainty any longer. I decided to take a day off work and follow Bernice. I trailed her as she drove to her office, parked a block away, and watched her enter the building. I waited for an hour, then two, growing increasingly impatient. Finally, she emerged from the building, not alone. She was with a man, a tall, handsome man with a confident swagger. They walked hand in hand, laughing, their bodies close. They looked like lovers. A wave of nausea washed over me. My vision blurred and my hands trembled. I watched in stunned silence as they got into his car and drove away. I followed them, my heart pounding in my chest, my mind struggling to process what I was seeing. They drove to a secluded park on the outskirts of the city, parked the car, and walked into the woods. I followed them, keeping my distance, my footsteps muffled by the fallen leaves. I saw them kissing, embracing, their bodies entwined. The sight was like a knife twisting in my gut. The woman I had loved, the woman I had trusted, was betraying me right before my eyes. I turned away, unable to watch any longer. I stumbled back to my car, my legs weak, my mind numb. I drove home in a daze, the image of Bernice and her lover seared into my brain. I spent the rest of the day in a state of shock, unable to eat, unable to sleep, unable to think. The world around me seemed to have lost its color, its meaning. My life, my marriage, everything I had believed in had been a lie. That evening when Bernice returned home, I was waiting for her. I stood in the living room, my arms crossed, my face grim. "We need to talk," I said, my voice cold and hard. Bernice looked at me, her eyes filled with apprehension. "What's wrong?" she asked. "I know," I said. "I know about him." Her face paled and she took a step back. "I don't know what you're talking about," she stammered. "Don't lie to me, Bernice," I said. "I saw you, at the park, with him." Her eyes filled with tears and she sank into a chair. "Quentin," she sobbed. "I'm so sorry, sorry," I said, my voice rising. "Is that all you can say? Sorry. You've been lying to me for months, sneaking around behind my back, and all you can say is sorry. I didn't mean for it to happen," she cried. It just happened," I repeated, incredulous. "You made a choice, Bernice. You chose to betray me, to break our vows, to destroy our marriage." She looked up at me, her eyes pleading. "Please, Quentin," she begged, "can't we work this out?" "I still love you, love me," I said, my voice laced with bitterness. "If you loved me, you wouldn't have done this. You wouldn't have cheated on me, lied to me, broken my heart." "I know I messed up," she said, "but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to fix this. Please give me another chance." I looked at her, at the woman I had once loved with all my heart, and I felt nothing but contempt. The love I had felt for her had been replaced by a burning rage, a deep-seated resentment. "There's nothing to fix, Bernice," I said, my voice calm but firm. "It's over. I want a divorce." Her face crumpled and she burst into tears. "No, Quentin, please," she sobbed. "Don't do this. I'll do anything. I'll go to therapy. I'll quit my job. I'll do whatever you want." "It's too late, Bernice," I said. "You've destroyed everything. I can never trust you again." I turned and walked away, leaving her sobbing in the living room. I went upstairs, packed a bag, and left the house. I didn't know where I was going, but I knew I couldn't stay there, not for another minute. I spent the next few weeks in a hotel trying to come to terms with what had happened. I hired a lawyer and filed for divorce. Bernice tried to contact me to apologize, to beg me to reconsider, but I refused to speak to her. I couldn't bear to hear her voice, to see her face. The divorce was finalized quickly and quietly. Bernice didn't contest it. She knew she had lost me, and she knew she deserved it. I moved out of the house we had shared, found a small apartment in the city, and started to rebuild my life. It wasn't easy. The pain of betrayal was a constant companion, a dull ache that never seemed to go away. I threw myself into my work, spending long hours at the office, trying to distract myself from my thoughts. I started exercising, going to the gym every day, pushing myself to the limit, trying to exorcise the anger and resentment that consumed me. I reconnected with old friends, people I had neglected during my marriage. We went out for drinks, went to concerts, went on hiking trips. I started to feel like myself again, like the person I had been before Bernice. One evening, a few months after the divorce, I was at a bar with some friends when I saw him. The man from the park, Bernice's lover. He was sitting at a table with a woman, laughing, flirting. He looked happy, carefree, as if he hadn't a care in the world. A wave of anger surged through me. I wanted to confront him, to punch him, to make him pay for what he had done. But I stopped myself. What would that accomplish? It wouldn't change anything. It wouldn't bring back my marriage. It would only make me feel worse. Instead, I did something unexpected. I walked over to their table, took a deep breath, and introduced myself. "Hello," I said, my voice calm and steady. "I'm Quentin, Bernice's ex-husband." The man's face paled, and he stared at me in stunned silence. The woman he was with looked confused and uncomfortable. "I just wanted to say thank you," I continued. "Thank you for showing me the truth about Bernice. Thank you for freeing me from a relationship that was based on lies and deceit. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to start over, to find someone who truly loves me." The man sputtered, trying to find his voice. "I don't know what to say," he stammered. "You don't have to say anything," I said. "Just know that I'm grateful. You did me a favor." I smiled, turned, and walked away, leaving him speechless. I felt a sense of closure, a sense of peace I hadn't felt in a long time. I never saw Bernice or her lover again. I heard through mutual friends that their relationship had fizzled out, that he had left her for another woman. I didn't feel any satisfaction or vindication. I didn't care. I had moved on. I had healed. I had found happiness again. A few years later, I met someone new. Her name was Isolde. She was kind, intelligent, and beautiful. She loved me for who I was, flaws and all. We got married, bought a house, and started a family. I finally found the love and happiness I had always longed for. Looking back, I realized that Bernice's betrayal, as painful as it was also a gift. It forced me to confront my own vulnerabilities, to reevaluate my priorities, to discover my own strength. It taught me that I deserved better, that I deserved to be loved and respected. And it led me to Isolde, the woman who made my life complete. The scars of betrayal may never fully disappear, but they have faded over time. They serve as a reminder of the pain I endured, but also of the resilience I discovered. I am a survivor. I am stronger than I ever thought possible. And I am grateful for the lessons I have learned, even the painful ones. One day, years later, I received a message from Bernice. It was a long, rambling email filled with apologies and regrets. She told me that she had been miserable since our divorce, that she had never found true happiness, that she realized she had made a terrible mistake. I read the email with a mixture of pity and indifference. I didn't hate her, but I didn't love her either. She was a ghost from my past, a reminder of a life I had left behind. I didn't respond to her email. There was nothing left to say. I had forgiven her not for her sake, but for my own. I had released her from my heart, and I had moved on to a better, brighter future. My story is a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, the ability to overcome adversity, to heal from heartbreak, and to find love and happiness again, even after the most devastating betrayal.